Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to get a look at a big tropical wave out there, but also what we've got going on closer to home. You see this tropical disturbance offshore now of Florida near the northern Bahamas. It does have a chance of spinning up once it gets over the warm waters of the Gulf Stream by tomorrow. So it could briefly become a tropical storm, but moving away from the southeastern coastline could bring additional rain to Bermuda. And then this location here, western Gulf of Mexico and the Bay of Campeche for the potential of some development this weekend and even more so by next week. But look at this strong tropical wave for this time of year. Now, I don't expect this to develop. There's a lot of dry air and there's actually a lot of dust headed toward the Caribbean. But that's kind of a picture we'd see more in August, maybe September. I think it's feeding off the unusually warm water temperatures. They're running well above average even out here. So a little bit more of a flare up with these tropical waves that have been coming off to the coast of Africa. And I'll watch that. But here's that flare up of rain. Now, this is what's going on across Florida today. You're thinking, hey, South Florida, parts of the Bahamas and Cuba that have had some flooding. The system's trying to depart. Now, with that said, as it starts to work away, you get the tail end of it, still bringing in more rain. There's going to be excessive rainfall in extreme western sections of Cuba and South Florida again, and parts of the Bahamas. Now, New Providence has been on the edge of it. We'll see if we get a little more rain moving in, but we can see an additional several inches of rain, upwards of 150 millimeters of rain just over the next couple of days with the tail end of the system. So there's the center of it later today, but you see how it kind of drags in some of that extra moisture, and that's what I was mentioning. As that slides by, we'll see some more rain. Now, the rain chance will trend down, but still that chance of some rain South Florida and parts of the Bahamas, northern Bahamas, as we work our way into tomorrow. Then getting into the weekend, this is the spot we'll be starting to see the moisture building. Here's the Yucatan of Mexico and over toward the western sections of the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to see things building. So right here, there's that brief chance of some tropical development, but over here, this is where I do believe something may spin up. Now, there's a lot of land kind of right around this, so we'll have to stay over water for it to obviously develop. But in June, this is typically where we see stuff form. Historically, we've seen several systems develop right in the Bay of Campeche. Water temperatures are warm, 87 degrees Fahrenheit, about 31 degrees Celsius, and the wind shear should relax enough for it to kind of see some spinach. So showing you that here, this here is the American model. And taking out in time, this is the spot we're watching now. This is today, but let me just kind of go out in time into the weekend and next week. You can see the clock ticking ahead here, trying to find a circulation as we work our way through the weekend into next week. You see the buildup of some of the winds, more so some gusts, but eventually as we get into Tuesday, there is a spin right there and a little white shading in there, which could be some winds of anywhere from about 35 to 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers an hour. So we start to get that circulation, kind of have to thread that needle right in the Bay of Campeche. But this could actually end up being good news if we see this buildup of moisture because Mexico has been so terribly and historically dry. There's that spin. It does look like if something does develop, it would either head toward Mexico or some of that moisture kind of lifting up toward Texas. That would be so more so in the western Gulf. Doesn't look like anything would kind of swing back toward Alabama, Mississippi, or Florida. So here's the broad picture with that. Here's the tail end of some of the rain. We're watching the additional flooding and then going out in time as we work our way into the weekend. And you see this rain just building through Central America. And anytime you get some rain building in an area this time of year, you do see the conditions. Check the conditions to see if it could spin up. This is by Sunday. If we get a lot of rain in here, those are going to be the signs that we are going to get some of the development. And then as we work our way into next week, that's when things could start to form. Even if nothing does develop officially, there's going to be a broad spin out here, and that could even throw some extra rain toward parts of Louisiana, Texas, but hopefully swinging back toward Mexico where we need to get some of the rain. So the tropical disturbance in Florida exits, at least the center of it does, the core of it does, but I showed you why we are going to see additional rain and additional flooding with this system nearby. Now, we'll watch throughout the weekend to see if anything does develop into a tropical storm in the western Gulf of Mexico. The first name on the list this season is Alberto. So if one of these areas spins up, it would be Tropical Storm Alberto. Thank you for being with me. Hope you have a good rest of your day.